Coming up, LaSalle loses another key veteran player. Adamson building for the future. And we have a trade between the San Beda Red Lions and the UP Fighting Maroons. All that and more coming up. What's up, everyone? Welcome back to another episode of Boleros. Medyo hindi na ako sanay mag-intro, guys, kasi matagal na tayong hindi nag-record ng episode. Back here with me, the Sultan of Sando, Mr. Gablim, and Maui Yap. So, medyo slow news pa rin tayo, but we do have a few topics that we will be talking about today. And we'll add a twist to some of the topics that we'll be talking about. So, we'll cover some of the UAAP news recently, and then I'm going to ask Gab and Maui a question. Trend or na? So, is this a bit of news, a new trend that you expect to see all throughout the off-season or beyond this season? Or ano lang to, one-off situation, or it's not a trend basically. So, let's get started. First bit of news, Raven Cortez surprising everyone, deciding to go pro for going his last eligibility year to join fellow teammate CJ Austria in the with the Abra Weavers. So I guess first things first, thoughts or reactions on Raven Cortez leaving LaSalle to go pro. Let's start with you, Maui.
2 years pa Sam actually ang eligibility ni Raven Cortez.
Sorry, 2 years pa.
I think that makes it more surprising, diba, that he decided to leave this early considering this guy. I think if I'm not mistaken, kung tama yung basa ko sa article ni Raven, he's been in LaSalle since grade 7 or grade 8.
Grade 7, yeah.
So talagang true-blooded green archer si Raven Cortez, but I'm happy. I think I went on Nav's podcast, we discussed this. I said I'm happy that players get this kind of opportunity. Diba? Kasi in the Philippines, players before used to go pro at 24, 25 years old. When we're talking about international leagues,
Sinasagad nila no?
Sinasagad nila until 24, 25. If you talk about international leagues like the NBA, when you reach 25, that's actually when you reach your peak age in basketball. So that's a bit crazy, di ba? That's why we see most of the pro players in the PBA get their peaks when they turn around 30. Di ba? We see players usually get their peaks a few years after they turn pro. So this is a welcome development. Di ba? Grabe Abra Weavers, they've recruited 3 green archers. 3 green archers plus David Alfonso. So grabe yung bankroll ng team na to. But yeah, generally I'm happy that Raven Cortez decided to turn pro. If you ask me, I wanted him to see him one more year. But the problem is kasi si Mike Phillips will still be there. So his minutes will still not be guaranteed. They will still not get the best opportunity. You don't know what will happen when Mike Phillips finally graduate. So maybe this is the best time for him to go pro if he's getting the right offer. Hopefully, I wouldn't be surprised if he breaks out in the MPBL. Kasi if you look at per minute numbers, si Raven Cortez had very good per minute numbers in the UAAP. And he was a very good, a very important player for the champion LaSalle team 2 years ago. Yeah, I'm happy. Generally happy about this news. Now it makes more sense. Why LaSalle decided to stockpile, diba, on all of these recruits, on Pablo, on Amos, and some other guys, Sarmiento, if I'm getting it right. But now it makes more sense why LaSalle decided to do this, diba? They have anticipated that their players could go pro early, diba? It happened with Austria. Now it's gonna happen with Raven Gonzales. Yeah.
Gab.
I think nakamute ako yun pero sinabi ko, finally! The 3 of us are back! Medyo nakangati na ako mag-usap about basketball kasi may konting news na yung dumating naman. But the Raven Gonzales one, unlike Maui, I wouldn't have wanted him to stay one more year. Because what's the upside of him staying one more year? Diba? For next season, he's still the backup, the third center. He was the third center last season. He's the third center again this season. And with Mason Amos coming in, Luis Pablo, Dominic Sarmiento, si Pablo and si Amos are probably gonna play the power forward slot. They're gonna play the 4. They're not wings yet. I haven't seen them play wings ever. So I don't think that's gonna be the case. So really, the upside in minutes for Raven Gonzales coming back for season 88 is still the same. What's gonna get 10 to 15 minutes a night, even less. Backing up Mike Phillips and Henry Agonane or Bright Nuanco if they choose to go back to Bright Nuanco. So, really, ano yung upside eh? Wala ka nang ibang mapapakita. Kasi, 2 more years, so pag-graduate ni Mike Phillips, there's still Amos, there's still Pablo, Agonane. I've been very impressed with Raven Gonzales throughout the years. You guys know this. I've always said you put him on another team, he's a starter. He's a star. You know, that's how good he is offensively. He's the best offensive.
I was gonna say the same thing. Yeah, I agree.
Yep, best offensive player that LaSalle had in the past couple of seasons. Great connection with Kevin Kiambao. Very soft touch around the rim and in the mid range. He has a hard time matching up with bigger centers in the FSA. We saw that with QMD. We've seen that with Malik Diouf when he was matched up with Malik Diouf. But he can hold his own, and he's not athletic. He's not as strong as these bigger centers. But we've seen him play smart. Diba? He has very good hands to play the defensive end. He doesn't block you up top. He blocks you when you're going up, at the bottom. So I love how smart of a player that Raven Gonzales is in making up for his limitations. So ako talaga, you put him on another team, he's a star. And the fact that he's still the third string center for LaSalle, I think this is a good move, a good investment for Raven Gonzales. I don't think there's any chance to go higher than the MPBL or the PBA anyways. If he
PBA,
in LaSalle. He was not gonna raise his stock playing as a third string center for the De La Salle Green Argos or a backup if he stayed for season 89. So this is a good move. Invest early. I'm how old is I searched this early. I think it's 23 or 22 or turning 23. So realistically, this is a better move than playing out the 5 years and 25, then you go to the and then you go pro and go to the MPBL and or to the PBA. A good move for Raven Gonzales. For LaSalle, this hurts. Actually, I think this benefits you, Raven Gonzales. This hurts LaSalle. Because again, he's a very valuable piece of that bench. We've seen it in multiple games, even in the finals in season 86. I do remember he scored 8 points in, I think, game 3, just being a target, or was it game 2 or game 3, just being a target for Kevin Kiambao in that high post. Or
semi-hook niya,
Yeah, yung semi-hook and the pick and roll, he's a good target for yung for KQ. He will be missed by LaSalle. I've been watching Dominic Sarmiento. I don't think he's at the same level yet as a Raven Gonzales.
Raw.
Yeah, he's pretty raw from the Pinoy Liga games. He's pretty raw. I don't think he's ready for big minutes yet. Maybe he's more of a project. So it's gonna be a lot of Henry Agonane and Mike Phillips in the center.
Maybe slot. Mason Amos, small ball.
Maybe si Mason Amos yung in a pinch. So they will miss him. Again, a very valuable piece of the bench, a guy you can throw out there, give teams a different look. Diba? Agonane is more of a at the rim finisher, despite him attempting some ill-advised shots for most of the games. But si Mike Phillips is also a role guy. He doesn't operate much on the mid-range. Si Raven Gonzales is We've seen it in multiple games in season 87 and season 86. He throws a wrench in there. A very different look yung for defenses because he operates a lot in the mid-range. As Sammy said, yung very sure ball na semi-hook.
Sure ball.
Oh, yung
100%.
Yung L1X, if anyone played NBA Live dati.
NBA Live.
NBA Live
2004 pa yun, bro.
2006, 2005.
2006 in Maui. I do remember that because I always beat people with that L1X.
Oo, madaya yan si Gab.
Sure ball yung L1X. And Raven Gonzales has that. So, a big loss for LaSalle. It hurts LaSalle. It also hurts, and I think it hurts, guys like Luis Pablo and Mason Amos. Because diba, we've always been talking about the transition for guys like Mason and Luis Pablo to wing players, diba? Maybe do more of the KQ transition. We've always been talking about that. But now that nawala si Raven Gonzales, nawala ng third string center, more minutes open up in the front court. As you said, Sammy, we might see more minutes at center for Luis Pablo and Mason Amos. They're likely gonna lock up the power forward slot and they're gonna be the emergency centers. I don't think they're gonna see wing minutes or barely because nga naging mas shallow ang front line ng LaSalle. So
May
I do
Konov
think
pa
that,
nga eh.
and exactly yung may Konov pa who's more of a wing player, I guess. Again, without the handle. So I think this hurts guys like Pablo and Amos. They will have to play more center. Dominic Sarmiento, I don't think he's ready yet for big minutes. I do think they're gonna go with Mason as a third string center, as an emergency center, because we've seen Coach Topex go away from Henry Agonane many times, especially in the second round. He's gone away from Henry. So those are my takes. I'm happy for Raven Gonzales. LaSalle will be hard pressed to find a third string center as capable as Raven Gonzales. Sammy?
Yeah, I'm happy for him. I think na-cover nyo naman lahat. I'm happy for Raven Cortez. I'm a big fan of Raven Cortez. He's one of our favorite LaSalle players. So, big loss also for us because we love watching this guy and cheering for this guy. Even nung season 86 when they won the championship, dun siya medyo nag-break out, diba? But I think, good move for him. Go pro early. One of the things that we always talk about, sometimes when you extend your playing career, may risk of injury. Diba? And for, you guys mentioned it, for guys that have limited playing years to play basketball at their peak and earn star money or at least yung peak highest salary, maximize it, diba? Maximize your opportunities kesa ma-injure ka pa. It's not worth it. You won a championship, you're a LaSalle legend, people will love you and cheer for you wherever you go. So just go pro and pursue that. Pursue the bag. But before we move on, so ito yung question ko. This is the second time actually for LaSalle, diba? This is the second time LaSalle role player, specifically a role player, has gone pro earlier than expected. So my question is for LaSalle and other teams, role players going pro earlier, is this a trend for you in the UAAP or hindi? Let's start with you, Gab.
It's a trend for now because my thing is for now, yes. I think the MPBL is a league that's growing. It's a league where there's a lot of cash pouring into that league. Just look at the amount of sponsors that they have, the amount of backers that they have. And I don't think there's a requirement, unlike the PBA. I know the PBA has a requirement that you have to play at least 4 years in college. Diba, Maui? I don't know if that's still in place, but
hindi na ata. Iniba na. Pero meron pa rin.
Oh, yun. So, with the entry of the MPBL and the amount of money that's offered there, I won't be surprised if a lot more role players do go there. Diba? I say for now because eventually the backers in the UAAP are gonna pony up more money also to keep these role players because
Wow. Okay.
they're valuable
Yeah.
also. They're pretty valuable. For example, if UP sees a trend na their guys, the guys that they invested in, important role players on their team are going
Are getting
elsewhere.
recruited. Yeah.
Yung getting recruited by these MPBL teams. I'm sure they're gonna pony up some more money. I mean, their pockets are deep, and they're gonna pony up some more money to keep these guys. That's just the truth of it. I think that's the way it's gonna go. Money talks, eh. And when teams see that they're losing players, they're gonna wanna have to make a solution for that. And what else but to be the highest bidder? Patungan mo yung offer nila from the MPBL para magstay sila sa UAAP. Unfortunately, that's how the league is turning out right now, and I won't be surprised na if that trend will stop because nga these backers of UAAP schools are suddenly pouring in yung more cash to give to these players. So yun. That's it. Maui.
Yes, I think it's a trend. Yung players going pro early because of the MPBL right now. It's a good thing for me, but I think it's also a byproduct of the new UAAP rule that you can that you lose 2 years eligibility. Diba? If you're a role player and you're in your third playing year, then your options right now are more limited. Diba? You can transfer to another UAAP team. Diba? Other players go to the NCAA like si Torculas, but players like Gonzales have opted to just go to the MPBL. Diba? Maybe Gab is right, yung offer na MPBL is more lucrative than the UAAP offer. But this is really a byproduct of that rule. Again, that very bad rule of the UAAP. So I wouldn't be surprised if down the road they will revisit it. Diba? There's two things that could happen. Diba? The first option is what Gab mentioned. Teams will have to give up more money, yung sponsors, yung backers, or they abolish the rule and it will make it more easier, diba, for player movement within the league. Diba? So I think it's really a byproduct of that. Aside from the MPBL being very aggressive at this moment, I did a quick Google search actually. The new PBA rule is 22 years old or 2 years of college of eligibility. So binabawasan na rin ng PBA. If you played 2 years of college, pwede ka na rin makapag-PBA. But somehow, it's still the MPBL that's benefiting from this. Diba? So, I think the MPBL is aggressive and they've been doing better than the PBA and even the UAAP in keeping talent. Diba? But at the end of the day, diba, what these players want naman is to go pro. Diba? So, I'm happy that our players, our student athletes have more opportunities. Diba? Kasi at the end of the day, they could still continue to study. Diba? If Raven Gonzales goes to the MPBL, what's stopping him from studying? Diba? If he opts to just focus on basketball, then better. Diba? You don't have to study, don't have to go to class. You can focus solely on your training. Diba? So this is a trend that I would believe will continue if the UAAP does not address yung residency rules. Diba? Kasi the options are now limited. Diba? Before you could still look at the other 7 teams in the UAAP. Diba? It was not very uncommon for a role player, a promising role player to transfer to another UAAP school.
Yeah, I agree with you guys. I think this is going to be a trend. Maganda yung point mo, Maui, na it could be also an effect of the new UAAP rule. Speaking of the new UAAP rule, let's move on to the next bit of news na I think is also an effect of the UAAP rule. So we talked about this. Turulas-Torculas decided of leaving UP. At that time, nung pinag-usapan natin...
We have a trade!
We have ourselves a trade! Shout out to the No Dunks crew. So, Turulas left UP. We finally know now where he's going. So, he's joining the San Beda Red Lions. And, UP is getting Payosing from the San Beda Red Lions. He will be joining the team the following season. So mag-sit out muna siya ng 1 year. So it is essentially, sabi nga ni Gab, a trade. Payosing for Torculas. I want to get your reactions on like Torculas joining San Beda and Payosing joining UP. I want to start with you, Maui.
Yeah, I'll react first on the Torculas news going to San Beda. I think dito natin makikita just how talented really all the UP players are. Diba? Kasi when Will Gozum decided to go to Mapua, he instantly became an MVP.
MVP.
I'm going on the record and gonna say that Torculas will have that similar effect in the NCAA. That's how much I believe. That's how much I believe. That's how much I...
Nauna na
Si Gab din. Sinabi na ni Gab yun. Oo nga, tama.
That's how much we believe in Torculas. Diba? There was a time that we were even arguing that Torculas should be getting more minutes than Lopez. Diba? Kasi that's how talented Torculas is. That's how versatile Torculas is. And I think yung athleticism ni Torculas is not spoken about as much. Diba? Kasi when you have a player like Lopez as your opponent or your rival when it comes to position, siyempre yung athleticism ni Lopez will be talked about. But when he moves to the NCAA and there are no FSAs and the average height of the centers are a lot lower than the UAAP, that will surely shine. So I'm sure si Torculas will have a big season for San Beda. I think this is gonna be his ticket, his tryout to finally get to the pro leagues. Let's see. I'm excited to see how it pans out. But I'm sure that hopefully si Torculas will be healthy when he finally gets to suit up for San Beda. I think he'll really play well. But yun, nung una parang we thought it was gonna be a big blow for UP, but apparently they'll still be getting something in return. Diba? They're gonna be getting the NCAA Finals MVP.
Finals MVP.
2 years ago. I think I like how si Payosing fits the bill of UP. Diba? Kasi when you talk about UP, we always talk about how strong their perimeter defense is, how versatile their guards are. When you're gonna lose Alarcon, when you're gonna lose Abadiana, you're gonna get a Payosing. I think this is UP's
that's a good replacement.
This is UP's start to that rebuild period when they lose all of these NU Bullpups. Very good move by UP. Maybe this is the move that really catapulted din si Torculas to go to San Beda. Maybe UP gave him a bonus, so he would choose San Beda, and then they will get Payosing. We won't know. But as far as our...
Baka may first round picks na kasama.
Trade kicker! May trade kicker!
Baka may trade kicker. We'll never know. But in our eyes, this is a trade, which is weird because it's happening in 2 different leagues. Diba? But 2 schools backed up by very generous patrons. But yeah, happy for Torculas first and foremost. Kasi he will finally get to shine and get, I would say, minimum 25 to 30 minutes in the NCAA. Hopefully, he has a season like Will Gozum. Diba? So he can end up going to the pros.
Hopefully, he stays healthy. I think one of the issues ni Torculas yun in previous seasons is yung health din. So,
before I say my piece, Sam, I do want to get your, who won this trade?
Win now. I think win now. San Beda won the trade with Torculas. I think he's a more complete or better player right now, but they get Torculas for 1 season, diba? Si Payosing, I think, will be able to play for 2 seasons. So, I think that's a good pick for UP also.
Di ba 2 seasons yan si Torculas?
2 seasons ba? Sorry.
Same.
Okay. Okay, so...
No eligibility year.
Walang
exhausted.
eligibility. Okay.
Same,
So I think
same rule for both leagues.
Okay, I think you know what? I think both teams won this trade. Bakit? Kasi I think San Beda I think San Beda needs a star. Wait. I think San Beda needs a star. Talent-wise, I think Torculas is the better player. Sabi nga ni Maui, Torculas will dominate. I think Payosing is a good role player for UP. And sabi nga ni Maui, a good replacement for guys like Alarcon and Jerry Abadiano. Si Payosing, you don't expect him to score a lot, but he'll do like all the dirty work. He's a hard worker, grit and grind. Defense, rebound, the hustle. He will be perfect for the system of Coach Gold. So I really think both teams won this trade.
Corny. Ang corny mo, Sam. Cop-out answer.
Hindi, ganito. Kasi Maui and I, we like, other than Jacob Cortez, the two guys that stood out during that championship run of San Beda, Payosing and si Jomel Puno. Those two guys were really good during that finals run. So, I'm high on Payosing.
Ako, ano pa rin, unahan ko na San Beda pa rin panalo. That's how much I believe in Torculas. I really believe
I get it.
I really believe if si Torculas didn't get injured. You saw the flashes nung summer.
Yeah.
If Torculas didn't get injured this year, we would
Nasira
have
yung
broken
minutes
out a lot.
niya. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm with Maui on this. I'm not gonna say both teams wanted to. No, I agree. I think San Beda in 2 seasons time, they're gonna have the MVP. They're gonna have the MVP of the NCAA, and you if San Beda got the better player of a future NCAA MVP in Aldous Torculas, I think they won this state. Payosing, again, I barely watched it, but he's not a high level scorer, or he's not that
Parang
guy.
8 points a game, diba? Average
yeah,
niya
I think
last
he
season.
averaged single digits points. So from what I've seen in highlights, parang ikaw sa amin yung maglaro. Do the dirty work.
Wow, nice!
Yung mga
Kinumpara ko kay Payosing. Sana lang.
This. Guys, if you don't know, si Sammy, ganun siya maglaro. Hindi siya high-level scorer, pero siya yung kukuha ng rebounds, siya yung mag-defend ng mga tao. So, hard worker. So, I think that's what UP is getting. Now, as for in season 89, whether Payosing is gonna, eventually take over for guys like Alarcon, Abadiano, or Fortea, I'm not so sure. Knowing UP, they will probably recruit more.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
So, ewan, no? He might be part of the rotation, but who knows who is still incoming in UP? Maybe si Handy Emao is there already by season 89. Si Baila still there. Ogana just got recruited. Marami pa. And I'm sure ang dami pa niyan. I'm sure UP is not
Knowing
stopping.
UP, yes.
Yung knowing UP, they will probably recruit more guards. So I'm not sure how big the role Payosing is gonna have, given his limitations offensively. Maybe as a defensive stopper, a guy like that, maybe. But again, I don't know how UP is gonna look like season 89. They're probably gonna look as deep. So not sure if it's a good move yet for Payosing. If he starts in as a starter in a UAAP school, in a top UAAP program like UP, then yeah, it's a good move. It's a good move for him. But if he's coming off the bench playing like Terence Fortea now, less than 10 minutes a game, then I think
Talo siya.
Talo.
Nawala ng upside.
Oh.
Yeah, nawala ng upside.
He should have
San
stayed in
Beda.
Beda. So that's my take. Sammy.
Yeah, pretty much na-cover nyo na rin naman lahat. I wanted to ask you this. So, trend or na? Ngayon, alam natin, UAAP players moving to the NCAA after that new UAAP eligibility rule. That was expected. Kasi ang hirap na, di ba? Ang hirap na to move to another UAAP team because you lose 2 years eligibility. That's expected. But UAAP teams recruiting NCAA players, is this going to be a new trend? Kasi yung UAAP teams, hindi na sila makakuha ng players from other UAAP teams. Hindi nila makonvince. So, now they're looking at the NCAA. looking at some of their top players and then maybe inviting them to join the UAAP kasi sabi nyo nga walang eligibility. So is this a new trend that we should expect to see this season, more people from the NCAA joining, or even next in the succeeding seasons? Gab, let's start with you.
Oh, hell yes. This will definitely be a trend. The most that UAAP teams can convince is guys like Russell Ogana. At most may 5 years of eligibility pa siya. So mabuwasan sa dalawa. He has 3 years.
May 3 pa,
to play.
okay.
So marami pang opportunity to prove himself. But guys who have played already, you 4 years left, you cut down 2. He has 2 years left to play. That's a very small window for you to prove yourself and raise your stock for pro leagues. Because, diba, if you're good enough, you want to be like guys like 30, guys like SGP Langin, yung Carl Tamayo, yung Kevin Kiongbao, make it to international leagues where the pay is higher, the exposure is better. You want to make bank, diba? I'm sure a lot of these young promising athletes, student athletes, want to extend their profitability and extend their careers to not just the Philippines but yung but beyond that. So definitely and that's gonna be hard to convince guys from other UAAP programs to transfer to another one because of the hit. Again, the residency rule, so stupid. So again, just like what UB is doing, they're gonna recruit from the NCAA. I think may 1 year of eligibility, di ba, mabawasan. Yun ang alam ko. So, just 1 versus 2 year yung eligibility, then, yeah, I think it makes sense. And it's a bigger league. A more competitive league, more exposure. The UAAP is a more talented league than the NCAA. Just plain and simple. It's better. The competition is better. Scouts look more to the UAAP than to the NCAA. That's just the truth of it. So, yeah, for these NCAA stars, if a UAAP team you comes knocking at your door and say, hey, you want to transfer, you still have 3 more years to play, you're gonna have a role here. It's a bigger stage for you to show off your talents. I think this is a no-brainer decision for NCAA players if UAAP teams you want to recruit them. So yeah, I think this is gonna be a trend, and it's not just for now. It's gonna be a trend in the future. As long as this UAAP residency rule is in place, a lot of NCAA stars are gonna want to transfer to the UAAP.
Now, anything you want to add?
Actually, you could even argue na kahit wala yung new rule. Diba? It already started with the transfer of Jacob Cortez to LaSalle. Diba? Tama si Gab eh. Scouts abroad look more into the UAAP. I think even yung mga insider from the PBL I've seen in X that they say that the products from the UAAP are more consistent than the ones in the NCAA. Diba? So, I think that having that FSA slot sa UAAP has really raised the level of talent din of the UAAP. Which is why if the UAAP decides to remove that would, with what's happening kasi right now, you don't know na what the UAAP is going to do next, di ba? But I hope they don't do it. But yeah, all the evidence suggests that this will be an ongoing trend, regardless of if the UAAP decides to revamp or to change again the rule before. I think that players generally tend to want to go to the UAAP. Not just because of the opportunity after and being scouted by scouts, but the reality of the thing is the money in the UAAP is a lot better. Diba? It's crazy how much money goes into the UAAP right now. Diba? We always talk about it starting to become a commercial league. Diba? It used to be that maybe you could say that Ateneo and LaSalle were the only teams that were bankrolled by billionaires. Now it's turning into it's happening to every team. Diba? The UAAP is a business. Diba? Yung trend really started a lot when NU won the championship and the NU school when schools started to realize that having successful UAAP seasons really tend to get more enrollments also, diba? Hindi lang it's really a business. The UAAP is really a business. We're talking about not public schools, only UP is the public school. We're talking about private institutions, diba? So, generally speaking, the UAAP will most probably get more money. And when there's more money, then the talent will generally follow. Diba? It's why Jacob Cortez wants to get to the UAAP. I'm sure that Lasal is more generous right now than San Beda was to him. Aside from the exposure, it's all about getting the bag as early as possible for all of these players. It's one of the reasons why a lot of juniors, diba, if you look at the junior stars from the, if you talk about UAAP history lang alone, diba, a lot of the UAAP legends, where did they come from? A lot came from San Beda High School, diba? Then they decide to go to the UAAP. So it's actually not a new trend. It's been a trend that's been happening since probably the early 2000s, and it's something that's gonna continue as long as the UAAP continues to be the better league in terms of like talent. And I think that's gonna be the case as long as they don't decide to remove the FSA slot. I think that was the first biggest mistake of the NCAA when they decided to remove that slot.
Okay, good point, Maui. Just a quick note. Actually, I did a quick Google check. Si Payosing, technically 3 years na. 98, 99, 100. Pero ang sabi nila, may 2 years pa siyang eligibility sa UP. So, walang nawalan ng walang years of eligibility ang nawala. I'm not sure. I don't want to pretend to know, pero mukhang wala.
It's the same rule, Sam. If a UAAP player transferred to the NCAA, magre-residency year ka lang, but that's not counted as a playing year. It's the same rule for NCAA to UAAP.
Okay. So, given that, I definitely agree with you guys. I think it's going to be a trend that will continue unless, sabi mo, Maui, we don't know what the UAAP or the NCAA will do, di ba? Malay mo, gumawa silang bagong rule na bawal tumawid from one collegiate league to another. I don't know. We don't know. We didn't expect the new eligibility rules to happen, but it did. So, for now, it's going to be a trend. Last but not least, sa UAAP news natin, Adamson finally securing some high school players from their juniors team to their seniors team. So, they secure Earl Medina and Jaire Tumaneng, committed to join the seniors division. Gab, as a Adamson Juniors fan, what was your reaction when you heard this news?
Finally, yung feeling ko yung nagnobina si Coach Nas or nagpuntang Manawag.
Finally, may for keeps.
yung feeling ko yung nagpunta yung ng Manawag, yung bisita iglesia ng sobrang dami ng Pasko para lang makuha yung mga recruits niya sa Adamson. Because actually, siya yung nag-recruit kay Jaire yung Tumaneng from New Zealand, if I'm not mistaken. So high school pa lang yung ni-recruit niya to. And I think this is for me, bigger news than compared to the first two yung that we talked about. Because this is, if you have been following our channel or the Adamson Soaring Falcons at all, you know how big this news is. Because last season they got no one.
0 of 4.
From their championship squad in the junior
Grabe yung zero, yung itlog no?
Oh, zero. Nada. Out of their 4 seniors in the high school division, no one went to Adamson. But now they got 2. And 2 that perfectly fit their lineup. They lost Mario Barasi, who was their backup center. They only had 3 bigs for this season who were playing rotation minutes. Cedric Manzano, OJ Ojaricre, and Mario Barasi. Mario Barasi graduated. There's a big hole there. So, si Kobe De Mesana is gonna slot in. But now they have Jaire Tumaneng. Now, is he an exceptional talent? I've watched him in juniors. He's more of a project, if I'm being honest.
But he's 6'8".
Yeah, he has improved in this season. But he's 6'8". You know, as I said, when we were doing, if you were the coach, We just need a big body. Adamson just needs a big body, and he's 6'8".
And 5 hard
pretty raw.
fouls.
Alright, wag ka naman. Yung mahiya ka naman kay Jeremy Mahinay. Ikaw talaga.
Pang Eco Lauri yan, bro.
Si Eco Lauri din pala. Jeremy Mahinay. So yeah, a big body. Someone to beef up that front line is definitely needed. And Earl Medina, if you know the game of Earl Medina, there's one thing that he's really good at. It's shooting. He can shoot the 3-point shot. He's a lights out shooter. And what does Adamson do? They shoot a ton of threes. He's instantly pasok. Swak na swak sa sistema ni Coach Nash Rosella. Perfect fit. I think this is a very good decision by Earl Medina and by Coach Nash to get these two into the seniors ranks. Now, as to playing time, Earl Medina has a ton of competition because there are a lot of similar players to Earl Medina. There are a lot of guys in Adamson who can shoot, who do the same thing. If he can show off a little bit more playmaking, something that Matt Erolon did this past season. I'm not just a shooter. I can actually run the pick and roll. I can actually run the offense. If he has something like that in his bag, maybe we'll see more of Earl Medina. Because he's a bit undersized to play wing. And again, there are a lot of other shooters in Adamson. So I like the fit into the system. Whether he gets big minutes, it's yet to be seen. No? Si Manu Anabo still there. Si Noah Pacquiao is coming in. Si Matt Erolon is still there. Ang daming perimeter players ng Adamson. So we'll see how much Earl Medina yung gets to play. But again, perfect fit. Yes. Thank you to Earl Medina and Jaireto Maneng for beefing up the Adamson Soaring Falcons. I like
number one Adamson fan dito sa Boleros. Saya ni Gab. Maui.
Yeah, I think we always talk about, diba, yung importance of having a good high school program and how it translates to having a good program in the seniors division, diba? I think with all of these recruitment wars, even starting sa high school, diba, teams are beefing up their high school team. Diba, Ateneo, even not only yung Ateneo Manila, they also decided to really lock up even yung mga Cebu guys and the other schools from Ateneo. I think it's one of the reasons why we see head coaches, diba, in the juniors division, yung mga games sa juniors division. So I guess this is a step in the right direction, diba? When it's very hard to recruit abroad, very hard to compete in the recruiting wars, you have to have a good high school program. Diba? And you have to make sure you keep them in the system. You recruit them in the seniors division. So, yeah, happy for Adamson.
Okay. Question is this going to be a trend for Adamson? Sa tingin nyo, they'll be able to recruit more players to, more juniors players to their team? Because they have a very good juniors team. Diba? They have very solid players there. Gab, let's go with you first.
As much as I love Coach Nash and Adamson, and I watch a lot of Adamson, despite how low scoring it is, I think this is a nah. I was actually pretty surprised they actually got Earl.
I agree with you.
Because with Earl Medina's skill set, I think he was ranked in the top 10 in the NBTC National High School rankings or whatever. Yeah, he was ranked pretty highly. With his skill set, I thought a lot more programs would be interested in yung Earl Medina. And if a program like LaSalle really wanted him, they would have gotten him. I mean, we know, si Coach Nash yung mismo magsabi, mahirap yung mag-recruit sa Adamson kasi
walang budget.
Yung walang budget. Yung mahirap, 'di ba? So
deeper pockets prevail.
Yeah. So as much as I love Adamson, I can't say this is a trend. I think it's a nah. Their next highly touted recruit is their point guard, which they so desperately need, si Mark Esperanza, si
Pomelo Ball.
Kailangan makip.
If they can keep him, all good. But with a talented guard like that, I'm sure a lot of other schools are calling, are texting, are DMing Mark Esperanza, hey, you want to play for us next season? Because this guy is pretty good. So I'm not sure if it's gonna be a trend. I'm leaning towards na. Definitely na. I'm sorry, Adamson fans. I'm one of the bigger Adamson supporters out there, but this is mahirap i-visualize na magiging trend to ng mga top talents ng Adamson ay mapupunta sa Adamson mismo. Very tough. Sammy or Maui?
Yeah, I agree with you, Gab. Actually, I was hoping you would say trend, pero I do agree it's a na. I'm hoping it's a trend for Adamson, but you mentioned it. The one guy, talk to me when you finally convince Pomelo Boyle to join your team. Then it might be a trend. Kasi may effect din yun, 'di ba? Whenever you have a star player be a part of your team, other guys want to play with that star player or want to join your team because your team has great players. The problem with Adamson is medyo matanda na or pag-graduate na yung mga magagaling nila, si Cedric Manzano, for example. So, you have to be building for the future. But this is a good building block. At least there will be familiar faces in Earl Medina and Tumaneng to build that future on. And also, these guys can help you recruit, diba? I'm sure they're friends. I assume they're friends with Pomelo Ball. So, si Esperanza. So, they'll be like, oh, sali ka na. Let's rebuild yung success natin sa juniors here in the seniors team. So, I think this is a good first step. But I don't think it's a trend yet. Maybe a few more recruits. Maui.
Same with Gap. As much as I want to say na this is a trend, it's probably not gonna be a trend. Kasi, di ba, as I've said, deeper pockets prevail. Di ba? Just ask Nick Cabanero. Kahit star player ka pa, kahit recruit ka pa ng foreign schools, kahit may scouts sa Ronaldo school nyo, at the end of the day, when you don't have the backing you need, you won't get the top players. Di ba? So, you'll have to make do with what you have. But this is a step in the right direction. Diba? Kasi, I mean, after going 0 for 4 last off-season, at least now they get some of their murky recruits. Diba? Maybe when we revisit this in 2 years, tayong tatlo, mali tayo, maybe it really becomes a trend. But I hope
alam mo naman, Maui, Adamson always proves us wrong.
I hope we're wrong, to be honest. Kasi, di ba, we always talk about parity, di ba, in the UAAP. Di ba, aside from parity, we want players to get the most opportunity. Di ba, we don't want them riding the bench for a few seasons and not getting enough playing time to showcase their talents. We want them to be scouted. We want them to be the next Raven Gonzales. Di ba, kahit bench player ka, ma-recruit ka to go pro. Because at the end of the day, the number one priority of all of these student athletes is to become an athlete, a professional athlete. Diba? Talk all about students being athletes, but their number one priority is basketball. Diba? And the sooner you get playing time, the sooner you get the opportunity, then the sooner you can be able to go pro and eventually shine or at least earn a paycheck, a steady paycheck. So yeah, hopefully this is a step in the right direction. Diba? Here's to hoping, much like sa UE, diba, we always hope na that the next season will be a different story or a better direction.
Okay, so that's it so far for our UAAP News Recap. Stay tuned for more UAAP discussions here. Meron ng Pinoy Liga Next Man Cup, so watch out for that. We've seen some of the upcoming players from teams like LaSalle, Ateneo. So we'll talk more about them in future episodes. Comment down below your thoughts on the latest UAAP news. If you think they're trends or not. Stay tuned for the next ones. Like, subscribe. Bye-bye.